It's another week of woke madness, folks, in the news. Well, not the mainstream media because they don't really want to talk about this stuff, but that's why I am here. So I'm just recovering from MILF Manor, which has been absolutely hilarious for all the wrong reasons. But in front of me, I have another cringe-tastic person in the pop music industry, Mr. or is it Mrs. Sam Smith, with their brand new song, I'm Not Here to Make Friends. And judging by Mr. Smith's bloated appearance, this man seems to have consumed a whole McDonald's restaurant in one single day than it takes for me to do in a single month. And let's just go through this video really quickly because it is just absolutely god-awful. Even the thumbnail is hilarious. But look at that, 166,000 upvotes. 254,000 downvotes. Of course, I added my comment down below. Ha ha ha, that dislike ratio is awesome. Sam Smith, who wanted a cringe non-binary section for Best Singer in the Shit Awards. And that category, we'll all get to that in a second, all ended up being men. Sam Smith, the same guy who gave us the worst Bond song ever, The Writing's on the Wall for one of the worst Bond films ever, Spectre, and in return, what did he get for his rewards? I think it was a Golden Globe nomination and an Oscar win. In really, when you think about it, it was a sympathy vote for inclusivity, ladies and gentlemen, which is probably going to be the theme of today's video. And of course, if you go to the Brit Award nominees here, for the now that what the section should be is Best Female, Best Male Artist category. But as you can see, we've got Central C, some shit rapper I don't care about, Fred again, George Ezra, who used to be good for about 5 minutes, and now he's completely dog doo-doo, Harry Styles, although I want to question why he is in that category since he likes to wear a lot of ladies' clothing, shall we say, private and publicly, and Stormzy. So good luck to the Brit Awards because they had to bend the knee to the shrieking siren banshee wails of Sam Smith saying you've got to make this non-binary, you can't have it male and female, it doesn't work that way. Someone needs to tell Sam Smith that he might want to retake a biology course at a local college, just to remind him that there are actually 2 biologies in this world.
Do you mind? This is an internal call.
James Gunn, he made an announcement this week regarding the future of the DCEU or the DCU. I can never tell now what it is. In front of me, this is going to be an animated series, Creature Commandos. Never heard of them, so I can't sit here and profess this is going to be wonderful, wah wah wah. Again, if this is the animation art style they're going for, I would be interested. But let's hear what else Mr. Gunn had to say.
The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by...
Hang on, is this the sequel to Wall-E? Because that would be awesome, but I guess it's not.
Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and...
Oh yeah, Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, or as James Gunn says, Watchmen. I watched the first episode and I tapped out. I'm glad I did. Watchmen, the TV series that made Rorschach look like a right-wing individualist, and it garnered many plaudits and acclaim and didn't get a second season. What a shame. Just stick to the Zack Snyder version or the Alan Moore graphic novel. That's your source materials right there. But Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, she's okay. I mean, she's okay in that role. She's fine. But given her activism off screen, when she's walking the red carpet.
If you don't come see it, then you're sending a message that black women cannot lead the box office globally. That you are supporting that narrative.
Well, the thing is, Viola, if you hadn't gone on there and said that, maybe some of us might have been curious, except for yours truly, because I can smell virtue signaling a bloody mile off. And of course, I've got to agree with the populist opinion here. Why is James Gunn mentioning this as his second project with the launch of the DC universe? Because his hot wife, Jennifer Holland, happens to be one of the Peacemaker Corps. So of course, she has to get a mention. Now, why can't male creators just sit down and birth a great idea without it being the focus on their wife or their girlfriend. You know, give them the benefits of real rewards later on if it strikes a home run. But for now, just keep it intact, James. Just, you know, that's why I don't understand why he did that. It was just a little bit odd to me. But let's carry on. I digress.
The Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025.
So Superman Legacy, he's being reborn, obviously, in the new DCU going forward. But legacy, if you look at its meaning, is things that you've left behind. The cornerstone, the timestamp of your activities through that period of history. So I guess the legacy of the previous Superman, played by the great Henry Cavill, is that he broke Zod's neck and that Batman shot people. So I guess you don't want their legacies to be tainting the brand new, I guess, optimistic DCU going forward. That's what I feel that it is. So it could be good. It's out in 2025. So yeah, Gunn is taking his time to pen this correctly. I do question Gunn's motives throughout this. What was it, a 5-minute presentation? Because it seems that people are saying that he went ahead and did this without marketing or Warner Brothers getting involved, like he wanted to do his own thing. He was taking a few pot shots at his former employer Disney by saying the word marvelous at least 4 times, I think. It was just weird that he said that. And he also had a bit of a dig at DC themselves in a Hollywood Reporter article. So, you know, how do I feel about this? Let's just wait and see what happens. I think personally, he's cramming in too many things. He wants to make DC video gaming, animation, films, and television all a big, massive smorgasbord. I don't think that's a great idea, especially when the video games are concerned, because now you're going to give video game developers a massive headache, because if they're creating a brand new Batman game or a Superman game, don't forget, you have to make sure it's in line with what's going on with the film universe for the future of Superman. And if Superman is coming out in 2025 and they're developing a brand new Superman game now, they might be revealing secrets before they even get out into the real world, because James Gunn may have actually let slip with a couple of things that they might want to include in a future game. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's not the best laid plan, James Gunn and Peter Safran. And on the topic of that, I don't know if you knew, but Zachary Levi was almost cancelled by idiots on Twitter because he agreed with somebody that Pfizer is evil. And of course, Zachary Levi, and I can personally relate to this, lost his father recently. So I'm guessing, was his father given a vaccine to try and make him live longer and it didn't work? Or Zachary Levi, as a Christian, just doesn't align with vaccinations. I only had 2 AstraZeneca jabs about 2 years ago. I'll never have any more again. I think all this propaganda about a virus, when it comes to town, you got to get inoculated. When the SARS virus happened in 2004, and when we had E. coli in the late 90s, nobody said go around and get a vaccination to protect yourself from these viruses, did they? In fact, when E. coli came around, I drank some... what's that kaolin morphine mixture. I had some of that because I had a bit of a bad tummy turn, and that fixed everything. That's kaolin morphine mixture when it was absolutely at its peak original. They've kind of refined that ingredient now, so I guess I'm not a big fan of it.
Not bad. That sketch was not too bad. Yeah.
Star Wars as a franchise should just be buried 20 feet under, put lots of excrement on top, and don't forget to include Kathleen Kennedy's corpse in that mix as well. So Wikipedia, you may have noticed a new field popping up in our info boxes lately. We are now listing characters' pronouns. Wow. So Chewbacca, Han Solo, Princess Leia, they all have pronouns because apparently their genders aren't very clear to us in a children's film fantasy. Yeah, my very first film that I ever saw in 1977. Then I came home and watched Bill Bixby in The Incredible Hulk. I mean, what a double whammy that was back then. Holy shit. It's always important to keep in mind that pronouns do not necessarily reflect gender. And by doing this, we will be more accurate and respectful. Hashtag Star Wars. Now, I didn't know this, but yours truly is blocked. I must have added some tweets a long time ago. I can't remember what it was, but wow, you know what, Wikipedia? I feel absolutely honored you've blocked me. I think this is actually my very first blockage. I feel honored, I truly do. But it only gets worse. Over at Bounding in Comics, yeah, you can probably tell by the picture already, this is going to be absolute cringe. And let me just enlarge that for you. Anakin Skywalker, played by the wonderful Mr. Christian Haydenson. He's a dude, isn't he? He's got his big saber held up there to show how powerful and alpha he is, even though he acts like a beta in the film. Homeworld, Tatooine. He died. Yeah, don't give a year, of course. He's a human. He's a male. His pronouns, she and her.
I would love for it to be after I'm dead.
If I bribe you guys, will you give them Thrawn, they, them pronouns just for fun and to upset the dude bros? Yeah, friggin' hell, jeez. Oh no. What are they? Oh, they. What? Thrawn is they and them? Is Princess Leia gonna be he, him? You can't make this shit up, folks. You really cannot. I mean, the only spectre of hope I'm seeing at the moment is that Hogwarts Legacy is the best-selling pre-order sales game of all time at the moment. Like, it has just trounced the opposition. All those anti-JK Rowling weirdos out there who say you must not buy that game because you're supporting transphobia. And by the way, that was another thing I heard this week as well. Women groups online, you know, biological women, are being forced to go elsewhere on the internet because apparently women groups, female groups who get together and discuss personal, intimate female issues, it's being seen or bookmarked as transphobia. Can you believe that? Can't discuss that on an open forum because you know what? It's transphobic. Wow. And you know what? Just after the new year, I had my Benny Hill moment. I'm walking down the street. I'm seeing a pair of legs walking towards me in a short skirt and fishnet tights. And I thought, oh, who's this coming up towards me? And as my imaginary camera went up and up and up, it was a man transitioning into a woman because they've had the operation. They still have the facial hair. They were giving me a bit of a steely-eyed stare to see if I would say anything. I just carried on, just kept my head down. You know, I gave them a quick glance, carried on, and I thought, holy shit, is this what 2023 and beyond and the rest of the world is going to look like? Wow. Say what you like about me. I have some old-fashioned opinions. I'm an old-fashioned guy. And yeah, I'm just going to lay it out thick on the line. But do you, I'll do me. And I think that's just the perfect way to exist in this really shitty world at the moment. All I hope and pray for now is that a spaceship lands outside of my house later on, a beautiful female alien comes out, decides she wants to spend the rest of her life with me, and I'll be gone from this earth forever and ever. Amen.
You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
Who?
Jack Burton. Me.
Oh yeah, just one quick story I want to touch upon, folks. The Last of Us Episode 3 aired last Sunday, and the man who directed it said he wanted to trick viewers into watching a gay romance. Okay, wow, so there you go. So it concerns the character Bill from the original video game, who was a badass, and you knew that he had this relationship with another guy they didn't really speak about. And of course, what Neil Druckmann had to do here, bring the old identity politics into a adaptation of that video game, because back in 2013, they couldn't really fleshed that stuff out properly. In fact, you know what? When things are subtly done, nobody really cares. When you put it out in the forefront, as they did with this recent episode. And look, I didn't watch this episode. In fact, I stopped after episode 1, which I thought was okay. And people were getting really, really excited. Oh my God, this is a faithful adaptation. Don't forget, Abby's coming in season 2. So I guess that's where all the plaudits and the accolades go straight out of the window. But yeah, you got Peter Hoare, I mean, that's his name, Hoar. So don't go around demonetizing this video, YouTube. It's spelled differently. He spoke to the inverse about the 3rd episode and said, sometimes you have to sort of trick the rest of the world into watching these things before they're like, oh my God, it was 2 guys. I just realized. Now, for what I heard, it's a self-contained love story between 2 men, Bill and Frank, and we know whatever, nobody really cares. But again, what you have to care about, Neil Druckmann just had to go out there and forcibly make viewers sit down and watch it. And I've heard 2 divisions. People loved it, other people just didn't like it. I may watch it to see for myself, but honestly, if this is the state of play where it comes to HBO programming, thank God we don't have HBO in the UK at the moment. We watch it via Now TV or Sky Atlantic, so I'm kind of glad for that reason. But, you know, Bella Ramsey, who plays Ellie, I mean, that girl's ugly as sin, man. I mean, she has... I've said it before in my first video, she just has a really weird-looking face. She's even said that her character's non-binary, which makes no bloody sense again. I like the Ellie in the video games. That's my preferred Ellie. And take that comment as you will, but oh my God, if they get this as the best actress possible, when there's probably millions of other potential actresses you could have used out there, and you went with Bella Ramsey and that freakish face of hers. As I've said before, nobody asked for a live adaptation for The Last of Us. The reason why we got a very bad live action version for Uncharted with Tom Holland and Marky Mark, why on earth is this going to be any better? Wait until season 2 comes out, what, in a couple of years' time? And we get the debut of Abby Johnson. Oh, I can't wait to see how that snowstorm starts melting all over the place. And on that one, folks, if you enjoyed today's roundup of the woke news for this week, make sure you hit the like button below. Make sure you like that like button. And if I were you, and if you were me, I would come back for the next video.